3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Friday edition of this week's program. I'm Yolanda Nell. Today I'm taking some time in nature and loving every second of it. Please stay tuned for today's interview. We will be back shortly. Heading over to our website for some news. Alleged pedophile Johan Maria, who is accused of raping and abusing dozens of underage boys to create child pornography, appeared in the Windhoek Magistrates Court for a formal bail application earlier this week. The state opposed the application based on 7 objections, including the serious nature of the offence, the likelihood that Maria could interfere with the investigation and state witnesses, public interest, and the fact that the state had a strong case against him. The state prosecutor said during cross-examination that they received 17 statements from witnesses alleging that Maria raped and or sexually abused them. They also have boys who will testify during the trial that they were given alcohol. He added that Maria's computer hard drives was in the state's possession and that naked photos of the underage boys had allegedly been found on it. During the bail application, the state also read out parts of a confession that Maria signed, wherein he admits guilt and explained what he did to each boy. When asked for Maria to comment on the confession, he said he would exercise his right to remain silent and that he would only comment on the content of the confession during the trial. When Maria's legal representative asked him to respond to the state's allegation that they had a strong case against him, Maria said he was not convinced, saying the case is based on allegations. The hearing is scheduled to resume on the 8th of September. Fly West Air launched its 2 new destinations, Rundu and Katima Mulilo, with inaugural flights on Wednesday. Departing from Eros Airport in Windhoek, these new scheduled routes connect Namibians and visitors between the capital and the northeastern regions and beyond. Fly West Air offers 2 weekly flight services between Rundu and Windhoek, as well as 3 weekly flights between Katima Mulilo and Windhoek, opening up the region for further tourism and trade. The introduction of these 2 destinations brings some relief to the weight of travel for those who live there and conduct business, while also boosting the tourism industry, which has been so badly affected by the pandemic. In light of this, Fly West Air is also partnering with the Gondwana Collection and its lodges in the region. According to Fly West Air's CEO Henry van Skalkwyk, Fly West Air is a proudly Namibian privately owned airline. We are committed to providing an admirable travel experience with consistent on-time performance. The opening up of these 2 new routes show our dedication to Namibia, to the travel and tourism industry, and we have no doubt that it will improve intra-Namibian trade as well. As we move towards the last quarter of the year, there is usually an increased trend in fraudulent activities. Fraudsters have become more sophisticated in their operations as clients migrate to digital channels and have become very persuasive in the way they get information out of the people they intend to defraud. When you get a call from someone who says they are calling you from a bank and they need information from you, or from someone saying they need your banking details to deposit money that you've won, you should immediately be suspicious. The caller themselves is likely to end the call because you became suspicious. Remember, your bank will never ask for your personal or banking details over the telephone. For fraudsters to gain access to your account, they need very specific information. They will need your bank account number, card number, PIN, username and password. And they will skillfully extract this information from you. They will offer to assist with an upgrade to your phone so that you can have access to your funds or claim that you have won some money and they need your banking details to make the deposit. The latest tactic is to ask for the PIN, claiming to extend the expiry date on cards or to upgrade your internet connection speed. Always keep this information safe and confidential. This information, particularly your PIN, is the key to your hard-earned money and must never be shared with anyone. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm joined with a tourist and traveler all the way from Cape Town. JP, thank you so much for your time and meeting with me here in the bush.
In the bush, yes.
Quickly tell us, you're on your journey Cape Town to China. Tell us about this.
In my head, I started planning this 5 years ago. I've always wanted to do a really big trip. Initially, the trip was just going to be circumventing Africa, but then with the whole Corona situation, I decided, let's Google how far I can drive from Cape Town. Believe it or not, I understand that you can walk or cycle or drive from Cape Town to the middle of Russia on tarred roads. So I decided, okay, why don't I just drive to China? So I'm driving to China.
How long is this journey going to take you?
Really, there's no time frame. I'm not particularly phased about time. I don't have any time frame restrictions, but I do think it's going to take between 3 and 5 years. It's the most difficult part about this journey is the beautiful countries. You don't actually want to rush. Most people, in my opinion, you drive from point A to point B, and your actual aim is your destination. On a trip like this, the actual destination is almost irrelevant. I'm somewhere here on Google Maps and I have to get somewhere there on Google Maps, but how I wiggle my way through, it's fine. Namibia has been a particularly interesting eye-opening. I've seen beauties that I didn't think I'd see, and I've been here now just on 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite of Namibia?
Oh, that's such an unfair question. There's so many. There's really so many. Strangely enough, I really enjoyed Swakopmund as a town, but in terms of the bush environment, the Cocoland. This vehicle is self-contained. It has water, it has food, it has electricity, a fridge freezer. So I was able to go into the Cocoland for 4 days. I could have been there for 2 weeks. It's just breathtaking. I find that a lot of Namibia, the geology of Namibia, the rocks and the mountains and the hills, is quite rough. Big, chunky, sharp rocks. The Cocoland, it's soft, flowing, sandy hills where it kind of envelops you and welcomes you in.
Why did you decide to travel?
I guess the answer is, why not? Look, my opinion is we have seasons in life. We grow up, we study, if we're lucky enough to study, we start a working environment, we buy a house, we aim for a retirement, we go into retirement, we die. I don't want that. I want to explore the world. So I'm in my mid-40s, I've made a little bit of money, I've got a vehicle, I have the physical ability to go traveling, and I have a desire to explore the world. Why not?
So what have you learned during your journey?
Initially, it was very difficult to be a wild camp. I probably wild camp 25 days out of 30, which means I'm in the bush, I'm in the mountains, I'm in the desert, self-sufficient. It was very difficult initially to have my own company. Now people say, hey, I'm really comfortable with my own company. What they really mean is the TV in the background, you're on your cell phone or on WhatsApp, you've got your computer going ping, ping, ping with emails, and hey, I'm on my own company. No. In the bush, there's nothing. There's nothing but you and the sound of nature. And initially, actually, your eardrums hurt a bit because it's so quiet. It sounds weird, but it is. So I've learned that there's so little that we need to be happy, I must be honest. And it actually costs so little. Sure, there's a bucky and a canopy and all those things that I needed to buy, but once you're on the road, it doesn't cost a lot of money to be happy. It doesn't have to be expensive restaurants and vehicles and houses and holidays. It's just the simple simplicity of being one with nature.
So tell us, how has Namibia been treating you?
Weather-wise, it's been amazing. I arrived just before you had that cold snap. that was no fun. That was showering at -3 degrees Celsius in the morning. With Africa, there's no hot water in this thing. So once I get to Europe, if I get to Europe, I'll install hot water, but it's cold water. But -3 is a little bit colder than you actually want to. I showered that morning and I actually wrote the word cold on my bonnet for the icicle. So that was cold, but weather has been astounding. I come from Cape Town. We have a cold, biting, strong wind a lot of the time. You've got beautiful, mild weather in Namibia. Your people are friendly. Everyone is friendly. No country is perfect, but Namibia is friendly. The people have been fantastic. Your road structure is superb. A lot of it gravel. It's kind of part of the fun, but it is great condition. Namibia is a great country.
Where have you been in Namibia?
Yeah. I think my polar steps says that I've done 8,200 kilometers in the 8 weeks I've been here. I arrived from South Africa, Richtersveld, through Fjellsdrift in the south, and then I've wiggled my way all the way up the coast, all the way up to Swakopmund, Henties Bay, to Messam Crater, into something called the Dead Sea. You've got a tiny little Dead Sea in the middle of Namibia, if you don't know. And then I went into the Messam Crater, through Messam Crater to Spitskoppe. Up from Spitskoppe, I headed all the way up to Kokeland, and then Kokeland I come back just past the western side of Etoshapan to Windhoek to do a number of things and to meet awesome people, and the journey is a question mark from here.
Great. For how long have you been on this journey?
10 months. I'm a South African, but unless you've got the means financially to do so and the time to do so, to travel in your own country for a length of time, not a week here and a week there, and I just had the most amazing time. My favorite country at this stage, out of all the countries I've ever gone to, is South Africa. It's just amazing. So I did 4 and a bit months in South Africa, spent a nice long time in Mozambique, Kruger National Park, Botswana, back into South Africa to say goodbye to family and friends for the last time, and then now 2 months here. So before you know it, you're at 10 months.
That's amazing. It's fascinating to meet people knowing that, you know, everyone wants to travel, everyone wants to see the world, but there's challenges, and then meeting someone who actually does it, it just kind of gives that hope, that little fire, that little flame that can turn into a fire.
Yolanda, there is no doubt about it that the greater the things that we want to achieve in life, the other side of the coin often is sacrifice, thinking medium to long term, planning, keeping your foresight going, and just holding on to that goal. But really, if you have a long-term goal, we're talking 3 years, you can save, you can plan. I would say that anyone can do that. You can do this kind of journey with children. If you Google a guy called Graham Bell, is just one of a number of people. They've been traveling with their 2 kids for 5 years. You can travel around the world. I've met people with young babies, with teenagers traveling around the world. It's not an expensive thing to do. You just got to bite the bullet. It's not always easy, but you've got to say goodbye to your DSTV and sometimes your hot water in the morning.
JP, thank you so much, and good luck on your journey. And I hope you come back to Namibia one day.
It depends on what's here for me, but it's a great land and great people, and I'm hoping so.
And then you can come tell us how China was.
And all the other countries, 50 odd countries.
Exactly.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back shortly.
Thank you.
For today's life hack, if you want to develop a closer bond with someone you've just met, the best thing you can do is to constantly use their name in conversation. This helps develop trust and the feeling that you've known them for a longer period of time. Next up, Jeanette Diergaard for our Flex Minute.
Hi everybody and welcome back to another Flex episode. Hi everybody and welcome back to Flex. I'm Jeanette Diergaard, your presenter for Flex, and today we will be stretching out our shoulders. If you have any tension in your neck, in your shoulder blades, in your shoulders, this will be great movements just to ease that tension and just to feel a bit better. So we're going to start off with having your shoulder across your body or your arm across your body. So your opposite arm to the opposite side, and you really want to stretch it out, and you'll definitely feel this in your shoulder. You'll feel it at your back as well, almost in your shoulder blades. But this one, just hold it for a few seconds, and then we're going to go to the other side. Okay, so depending on how your shoulders feel, if you'll feel a bit more tension in the one than the other one, then obviously that means there's a bit of a problem. Okay, so you just want to stretch that out, okay, put it into you, and now let's just quickly rotate our neck, or rotate our head to the side. Just also stretch that neck muscles there, so just to one side and to the other, so that runs in your shoulder. So give that a good stretch, and then hopefully you'll feel a bit better. Okay, that brings us to the end of this one. I'll see you guys in the next one.
That brings us to the end of our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Please have a safe weekend. If you are interested in JP's journey, please follow him on Cape Town to China on social media and just see what he's getting up to for the rest of the trip. I'll be back on Monday. Have fun.